The email arrived at 2:17 a.m. A single line that shattered my world. I know who you really are. Ethan Caldwell. My heart stopped. The screen's glow burning my eyes as I sat frozen in my Harvard dorm. By dawn, my life, my scholarship, my future, my love would be in ruins. My name is Ethan Caldwell, a 22-year-old from a small Maine town, built on grit and secrets. I'd clawed my way into Harvard Law on a full scholarship, the first in my family to escape the cycle of lobster boats and bar tabs. But the real me? I hid that behind a carefully curated mask, the straight A student, the charming frat guy, the one who never let the world see the truth. Until I met Lucas Hayes. It was September, my second year at Harvard, when I saw him in a Cambridge coffee shop. Lucas was sketching furiously, his blonde hair falling over his forehead, blue eyes sharp with focus. He was an architecture student at MIT, all lean lines and quiet confidence, like he'd stepped out of a blueprint for perfection. I spilled my coffee just to have an excuse to talk to him. Nice sketch, I said, pointing to his intricate drawing of a glass skyscraper. He smiled, and I swear the room tilted. We talked for hours that day, about Frank Lloyd Wright, Maine's rocky shores, and the dreams we didn't tell anyone else. Lucas wanted to design buildings that made people feel alive. I wanted to fight for justice in a world that didn't care about people like us. By the time we left, I knew I was falling, and it terrified me. I'd spent years burying that part of myself, knowing my conservative hometown would never accept a gay kid, scholarship or not. Over the next few months, Lucas became my world. We'd meet in secret, late-night walks along the Charles River, stolen kisses in empty lecture halls, his hand brushing mine under diner tables. He was fearless in a way I envied, openly out and unapologetic, while I lived in constant fear of being seen. You don't have to hide forever, he'd whisper, his voice soft but certain. But I did. My scholarship depended on my image, my family's pride, my future. Coming out wasn't an option, it was a death sentence. One night, Lucas showed me his latest project, a community center for queer youth. All glass and light, a place where people like us could feel safe. This is why I do it, he said, his eyes bright. To build something that matters. I kissed him then, harder than ever, because he made me believe I could be more than my fear. That night, I made a choice. I'd give up everything, my scholarship, my mask, if it meant a life with him. But choices have consequences. I started slipping, missing classes, dodging my advisor, letting my grades dip. My roommate, Jake, noticed first. You okay, man? He asked one night, his brow furrowed. I brushed him off, but the guilt gnawed at me. I was risking everything I'd worked for. And for what? A love I couldn't even claim in public? Then came the email. I was up late, drafting a resignation letter to my scholarship board, ready to walk away from law for Lucas. The notification pinged, and I opened it without thinking. I know who you really are. Ethan Caldwell. No sender. No signature. Just a link to a blurry photo. My breath caught. It was me and Lucas, kissing in an alley behind a bar. My face was clear, unmistakable. Below it, a caption, Harvard's golden boy isn't who you think. Panic clawed at my chest. I called Lucas, my hand shaking. Someone knows, I choked out. His voice was calm, steady. We'll figure it out, Ethan. Together, but I could hear the worry beneath his words. This wasn't just about me, It was about him, his dreams, his future. If that photo got out, it wouldn't just ruin me. It would destroy us both. I didn't sleep that night. I sat at my desk, staring at the photo, trying to trace its origin. The email was anonymous, sent from a burner account. The bar was a place we'd gone once, a dive in Somerville where we thought no one knew us. But someone had been watching. Someone who wanted to hurt me. By morning, I'd made a plan. I'd track down the sender, figure out what they wanted, and protect Lucas at all costs. I couldn't lose him, not when I'd already given up so much. But as I stepped into the crisp Cambridge air, my phone buzzed again. Another email, this time with a deadline, 48 hours. Or this goes viral. The clock was ticking, each second a hammer against my skull. I had 48 hours to save my life, my love, and everything I'd built. Lucas met me at our usual spot by the Charles River, his face pale but resolute under the gray October sky. "We can't let this control us," he said, gripping my hand. His touch was warm, grounding, but it couldn't stop the dread pooling in my stomach. "Whoever sent this, they're trying to scare you. Don't let them win." "I'm not scared for me," I snapped, harsher than I meant. "It's you. Your career, your designs, everything you've worked for. If this gets out, they'll tear you apart too." Lucas flinched, but he didn't let go. "I can handle it," he said softly. "Can you?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. Instead, I pulled him into a hug, burying my face in his jacket, the scent of cedar and ink calming my racing heart. But the truth was, I wasn't sure I could handle it. My scholarship was my lifeline, the only thing keeping me from sinking back into the poverty I'd escaped. Losing it meant losing Harvard, my degree, my future. And yet, losing Lucas felt like losing my soul. We spent the day digging for clues. Lucas suggested checking the bar's security footage, but the owner, a gruff guy named Tony, shook his head. "Cameras don't cover the alley," he said, wiping down the counter. "You kids should be more careful." His tone wasn't cruel, but it stung. He knew. Of course he knew. Back at my dorm, I scoured the internet, searching for the photo's digital footprint. Lucas sat beside me, sketching absent-mindedly, his pencil scratching out a lighthouse on a stormy cliff. "You're good at this," he said, nodding at my laptop. Lawyer brain. I forced a smile, but my mind was spiraling. Who had taken the photo? A classmate? A stranger? Someone from my hometown? Hell-bent on dragging me down? By evening, we had nothing. The email's IP was masked, the photo untraceable. Lucas suggested going public, coming out on my terms before the sender could expose me. "Take their power away," he urged. But the thought made my chest tighten. My family, my friends, my professors, they'd all see me differently. I'd be the gay kid, not the scholar. The failure, not the success. That night, we lay on Lucas's tiny MIT dorm bed, the city humming outside. "Tell me we'll be okay," I whispered. He kissed my forehead. "We'll be more than okay. We'll be us." For a moment, I believed him. But as I drifted to sleep, my phone buzzed again. Another email, 24 hours. "Drop out, or everyone sees." The next morning, I woke to Lucas's steady breathing, his arm draped over me. I wanted to stay there forever, but the deadline loomed. I slipped out, leaving him a note. Need to clear my head. Be back soon. I walked to Harvard Yard, the autumn leaves crunching under my feet, and sat on a bench, staring at the law school's ivy-covered walls. This was my dream, the thing I'd sacrificed everything for. But Lucas was my heart, and I'd already chosen him. I called my advisor, Dr. Bennett, and told her I was considering withdrawing. Her voice was sharp with concern. Ethan, you're one of our best. What's going on? I mumbled something about personal issues, but she pressed. You're throwing away your future. Talk to me. I hung up, my hand shaking. She didn't understand. No one did. When I got back to Lucas's dorm, he was pacing, his sketchbook abandoned. Where were you? He demanded. I told him about the call, the deadline, the choice I was facing. His face softened, but his eyes were fierce. You can't let them win, Ethan. We fight this. Together, we decided to confront the only lead we had, Jake, my roommate. He'd been acting strange, asking too many questions about where I was spending my nights. When I got back to my dorm, he was there, scrolling on his phone. Hey, man, he said, too casually. You look rough. Jake, I said, my voice low. Did you send me an email last night? His eyes flickered, just for a second, but it was enough. What are you talking about? He said, but his voice cracked. I stepped closer, my heart pounding. Don't lie to me. He stood, his face hardening. You're the one lying, Ethan. To everyone. You think I didn't notice you sneaking around with that guy? My blood ran cold. He knew. And he wasn't done talking. Jake's words hung in the air like smoke, thick and suffocating. I saw you, Ethan, he said, his voice low, almost a growl. You and that architect kid. You think you can play everyone and get away with it? My fists clenched, but I kept my voice steady. What do you want? Jake, I asked, though I already knew. He wasn't just my roommate. He was the son of a senator, raised on power and privilege. If he had the photo, he had the means to destroy me. He smirked, leaning back against his desk. I don't want anything. Just thought you should know someone's watching. Someone who doesn't like liars. He tossed his phone onto his bed, the screen dark. Was he bluffing? Or was he the one behind the emails? I left without another word, my mind racing. Lucas was waiting at a diner near campus. His sketchbook opened to a new design, a spiral staircase that seemed to climb into infinity. What did he say? He asked, his eyes searching mine. I told him everything, and his jaw tightened. He's not the type to stay quiet, Lucas said. We need to be ready. We spent the day strategizing. Lucas suggested posting the photo ourselves, controlling the narrative. If we own it, they can't hurt us, he said. But the thought of my parents, my dad, who'd worked double shifts to send me to college, my mom, who prayed for my success every Sunday, seeing that photo made me sick. They didn't know. They couldn't know. By evening, the deadline was hours away. I checked my email obsessively, but no new messages came. Lucas stayed close, his presence the only thing keeping me grounded. We walked to the MIT campus, where his community center model sat in a glass case, a beacon of hope in a world that felt increasingly dark. This is what we're fighting for, he said, touching the model. a place where no one has to hide. I wanted to believe him, but fear was winning. That night, I drafted a new resignation letter, my fingers trembling over the keys. Dear Dr. Bennett, I am withdrawing from Harvard Law School due to personal reasons. I didn't send it, not yet, but it felt like signing my own death warrant. At midnight, my phone buzzed. Another email, this time with a video. My heart stopped as I clicked play. It was us, Lucas and me, laughing in the coffee shop where we'd met, our hands brushing under the table. The caption read, "Time's up." I showed Lucas, and his face went white. "They're not stopping," he whispered. We stayed up all night, trying to trace the video. Lucas's tech-savvy friend, Mia, helped us analyze the metadata, but it was another dead end. "Whoever's doing this knows what they're doing," she said, her voice grim. "They're not just some random creep." By dawn, I was exhausted, my resolve crumbling. Lucas took my hand, his eyes fierce. "We can't let them break us," he said. "You're stronger than this." Ethan, but was I? I'd given up so much already, my focus, my grades, my future. And now, with one click, someone could take it all. I went to class that morning, a zombie in a lecture hall, barely hearing the professor's words. My phone buzzed again, another email, this time with a demand, drop out by noon, or the video goes to your scholarship board. Noon. 3 hours away. I texted Lucas, my hands shaking. "What do I do?" His reply was instant. "We fight." "Meet me at the coffee shop." I left class, ignoring the professor's call after me, and ran to Cambridge. Lucas was there, his sketchbook closed, his face set. "We're going public," he said. "We post the video ourselves?" With a message. "We tell the truth." I stared at him, my heart in my throat. "And lose everything?" I whispered. He took my face in his hands. "You won't lose me." That's what matters. For the first time in days, I felt a spark of hope. Maybe he was right. Maybe the truth was our only way out. But as we sat down to write the post, my phone rang. It was Dr. Bennett. "Ethan," she said, her voice urgent. "We need to talk. Now." Dr. Bennett's office was a fortress of books and degrees, a testament to the life I dreamed of. She sat across from me, her eyes sharp but kind. "Ethan, what's going on? First you missed classes. Now you're talking about withdrawing." "This isn't you." I wanted to tell her everything, the emails, the photo, the video, the fear that had consumed me. But the words stuck in my throat. Instead, I mumbled, "It's personal." She leaned forward, her voice soft. "You're not alone in this. Whatever it is, we can work through it." I left her office with no answers, only a gnawing sense of guilt. Lucas was waiting outside, his face anxious. "What did she say?" he asked. I shook my head. "She wants to help, but I can't tell her." "Not yet." He nodded, but I could see the frustration in his eyes. He wanted me to be brave, like him. But bravery felt like a luxury I couldn't afford. We went back to the coffee shop, drafting our post. Lucas typed, his fingers steady. "This is us. Ethan and Lucas. In love and unafraid. We won't let hate win." I stared at the words, my heart pounding. It was beautiful, but it was also a grenade. Once we posted it, there was no going back. Before I could decide, my phone buzzed again. Another email, this time with a name, Jake Turner, my roommate. The message was simple, I warned you. Noon. Attached was a screenshot of the video, already uploaded to an anonymous X account, ready to be shared with a single click. I showed Lucas, my hands trembling. It's him, I said. Jake's the one. Lucas's face hardened. Then we confront him. Now, we marched to my dorm, adrenaline pumping. Jake was there, lounging on his bed, his smirk gone when he saw us both. Game's over. Jake, I said, my voice shaking with rage. Why are you doing this? He stood, his eyes cold. You don't get to have it all. Ethan. The scholarship. The perfect life. While you're lying to everyone. You think you're better than me? Lucas stepped forward, his voice low. You're pathetic. Jake. Blackmailing someone because you're jealous? Grow up. Jake laughed, but it was brittle. You think this is just me? There are others. People who don't want your kind at Harvard. My blood ran cold. Others? Was Jake working with someone? Or was he bluffing again? Before I could ask, Lucas grabbed my arm. We're done here, he said. We post the video. Now, back at the coffee shop, we hit send. The post went live on X. Our faces, our love, out there for the world to see. Within minutes, the notifications started, likes, retweets, comments. Some were kind, others vicious. My phone rang my mom. I didn't answer. I couldn't face her yet. By evening, the video had spread. Friends texted. Professors emailed. My scholarship board sent a formal request for a meeting. Lucas held my hand as we watched the chaos unfold. We did the right thing, he said, but his voice wavered. I nodded, but inside, I was breaking. I'd chosen love, but at what cost? That night, we stayed in Lucas's dorm, the world outside feeling like a war zone. He sketched while I stared at the ceiling, trying to imagine a future where we were free. But the emails didn't stop. Another one came at midnight. You think this is over? Check the news. I opened my laptop, my heart sinking. A local news site had picked up the story. Harvard law star faces scandal over secret relationship. My name, my face, my life splashed across the internet. And at the bottom, a quote from an anonymous source. Ethan Caldwell's been living a lie. He doesn't deserve his scholarship. Lucas pulled me close, his voice fierce. They can't take us down. Not like this. But as I buried my face in his shoulder, I wasn't so sure. Jake wasn't alone. Someone else was out there, pulling the strings, and they weren't done yet. The news story hit like a tidal wave, drowning out everything else. By morning, my inbox was flooded, supportive messages from strangers, hateful comments from others, and a formal notice from the scholarship board, meeting tomorrow. Be prepared to explain. Lucas sat beside me, his hand on my knee, but even his warmth couldn't stop the panic. We need to find out who's behind this, he said, his voice steady despite the chaos. Jake's not smart enough to pull this off alone. I nodded, but my mind was elsewhere, on my parents, who'd left 3 voicemails, each one more desperate than the last. I still hadn't called them back. We went to Mia again, who'd been digging into the X account that posted the video. It's linked to a VPN, she said, her fingers flying over her laptop. But I found something else. The account follows a group, a conservative student coalition at Harvard. They've been posting about moral standards in academia. My stomach churned. Was this bigger than Jake? A coordinated attack? We confronted Jake again. This time at a campus cafe where he couldn't run. Who are you working with? I demanded. His eyes darted, but he shrugged. You're paranoid. Ethan. It's just you against the world now. Lucas slammed his hand on the table. Tell us, or we go to the dean. Jake's smirk faltered, but he stayed silent. That afternoon, I met with Dr. Bennett and the scholarship board. The room was cold. The faces sterner than I'd ever seen. We've received concerning reports about your conduct, the chair said. This video, this relationship, it raises questions about your character. I wanted to scream that love wasn't a crime, but I stayed calm, channeling every law class I'd ever taken. My personal life doesn't affect my ability to study law, I said. I've done nothing wrong. They didn't decide that day, but the weight of their judgment followed me out. Lucas was waiting, his face lighting up when he saw me. You were amazing, he said, pulling me into a hug. But I didn't feel amazing. I felt like a fraud, caught between two worlds and failing at both. That night, Mia called with a breakthrough. The VPN traces back to a server used by that student coalition, she said. And guess who's a member? Jake's cousin, Ryan Turner. Ryan, a senior. A golden boy with a vendetta against progressive Harvard. It made sense. Jake was the pawn, Ryan was the mastermind. We confronted Ryan at his frat house, the air thick with beer and arrogance. You're done, Ethan, he said, his voice dripping with contempt. You don't belong here. Lucas stepped forward, his eyes blazing. You don't get to decide that. We're not going anywhere. Ryan laughed, but I saw the fear in his eyes. He hadn't expected us to fight back. We took everything to Dr. Bennett, the emails, the video, Mia's findings. She listened, her face unreadable, then promised to investigate. You did the right thing, she said. But as we left, I felt no relief. The damage was done. My parents, my scholarship, my future, all hanging by a thread. The next day, the board called again. They'd found evidence of harassment, linked to Ryan and his group. My scholarship was safe, for now. But the news story had reached my hometown. My mom's voicemail was tearful. Ethan, why didn't you tell us? I finally called her back, my voice breaking as I told her the truth. I love him. Mom. I'm sorry I hid it. She was quiet for a long time, then said, come home. We'll figure it out. Lucas and I went to Maine that weekend, to face my family and the town that had shaped me. It wasn't easy. My dad's silence cut deeper than words, but by the end, they hugged me, tears in their eyes. You're still our son, my mom said. Lucas squeezed my hand, his smile brighter than the sun. Back at Harvard, Ryan was expelled, and Jake issued a public apology. The coalition dissolved under scrutiny, but the scars remained. I stayed in law school. Lucas kept designing, and we built a life together, open, unafraid. One click had nearly destroyed us, but it also set us free. We weren't just surviving anymore. We were living.